Welcome to the Hacker's Guide first episode, where we explore the fascinating world of hacking and cybersecurity. In this episode, we will learn about hacking, such as what is hacking, who is hacker, classification of hacking, and more. We will also show you some practical demonstrations and tips on how to become a hacker. Whether you are a beginner or an expert, you will find something useful and interesting in this episode. In the next episode, we are going to come with another video about hacking. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more awesome content. Let's get started. In the world of digital security, it's crucial to know how bad actors, or hackers, break into systems and why. Think of it like understanding your opponent in a game. Sun Tzu once said, "If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat." This rings true for our digital world. System administrators and security experts need to protect their systems from these hackers who try to exploit weaknesses for various reasons, often illegal. So, it's like putting up strong defenses to stay one step ahead of those who might try to mess with our digital space. Now let's look. Elements of information security. Information security is a state of well-being of information and infrastructure in which the possibility of theft, tampering, and disruption of information and services is low or tolerable. It relies on 5 major elements: confidentiality, integrity, availability, authenticity, and non-repudiation. Confidentiality. Assurance that the information is accessible only to those authorized to have access. Integrity. The trustworthiness of data or resources in terms of preventing improper or unauthorized changes. Availability. Assurance that the systems responsible for delivering, storing, and processing information are accessible when required by the authorized users. Authenticity refers to the characteristic of a communication, document, or any data that ensures the quality of being genuine. Non-repudiation. A guarantee that the sender of a message cannot later deny having sent the message and that the recipient cannot deny having received the message. Now, let's break down the motives, goals, and objectives behind information security attacks in simpler terms. Attackers usually have reasons and objectives when they launch information security attacks. The motive comes from the idea that the targeted system holds something valuable, making it a tempting target for an attack. These motives or goals depend on why the attacker is doing it, their mindset, and the resources they have. Once the attacker figures out their goal, they use different tools and techniques to exploit weaknesses in a computer system or its security measures. So, attacks can be thought of as motive plus method plus vulnerability. Here are some common motives behind information security attacks. Disrupting business operations. Spreading religious or political beliefs. Stealing information. Achieving military objectives for a country. Manipulating data. Harming the reputation of the target. Creating fear and chaos by causing disruptions. Seeking revenge on critical infrastructures. Demanding ransom and causing financial loss to the target. Let's dive into the classification of attacks and keep it simple. According to IATF, security attacks fall into 5 categories: passive, active, close-in, insider, and distribution. The first is passive attacks. Passive attacks are like silent observers. They involve snooping on network traffic without messing with the data. Imagine someone quietly listening in on a conversation without anyone knowing. Attackers use tools like sniffers for this. It's tough to catch them because they don't actively engage with the target system. They can grab data or files being sent across the network without the user knowing. Examples include footprinting, sniffing, eavesdropping, analyzing network traffic, and decrypting weakly encrypted data. The second is active attacks. Active attacks are more like troublemakers. They mess with the data in transit or disrupt communication between systems. Unlike passive attacks, these can be detected because they involve actively sending traffic to the target system. The goal is to exploit information on the move. Active attacks can breach the target's internal network, gaining access to remote systems. Examples include denial of service attacks, malware, modifying information, spoofing, replay attacks, password-based attacks, session hijacking, man-in-the-middle attacks, and more. The third is close-in attacks. Close-in attacks happen when the attacker is physically close to the target system or network. It's like someone sneaking around your computer when you're not looking. The aim is to gather or mess with information or disrupt access. Attackers might peek at your credentials by looking over your shoulder or use sneaky methods like social engineering. Examples of close-in attacks include eavesdropping, shoulder surfing, dumpster diving, and other social engineering tactics. The fourth is insider attacks. Insider attacks involve trusted individuals who have physical access to important parts of the target. It's like having a spy within your team. Insiders misuse their access to violate rules or intentionally harm the organization's information or systems. Detecting insider attacks is tricky because these individuals already have the keys to the kingdom. The fifth is distribution attacks. Distribution attacks occur when attackers mess with hardware or software before it even gets to you. Picture someone messing with your new phone before it reaches the store. They might tamper with it at the source or during delivery. For instance, attackers might create backdoors in software or hardware during production to later gain unauthorized access to your information or systems. Examples of distribution attacks include modifying software or hardware during production or distribution. In a nutshell, passive attacks silently observe, while active attacks actively disrupt or modify data. Close-in attacks are like sneak attacks up close. Insider attacks come from within, and distribution attacks mess with things before they even reach you. Understanding these types helps us guard against potential threats. Let's explore hacking methodology in simpler terms. Hacking methodology is like a roadmap for ethical hacking. It outlines the step-by-step process to perform ethical hacking, which is basically using hacking techniques for good reasons. The process is similar to what a bad actor might do, but ethical hackers have different goals and strategies. This methodology is a guide for security professionals and ethical hackers. It helps them understand the different stages that real hackers go through to achieve their goals. By grasping the hacking methodology, ethical hackers can pick up various tricks, tools, and techniques used by attackers during different stages of hacking. This knowledge guides them to succeed in the ethical hacking process, basically, helping them use hacking skills to make systems more secure. According to the CHM, hacking involves several phases. Let's simplify them. The first one is footprinting. This is the preparation phase. Hackers gather info about the target before attacking. They build a profile, collecting details like IP addresses, organization structure, and employee information. For instance, a company's website might have staff bios useful for tricking people. Checking domain names through a whois query is also part of this phase. The second is scanning. Scanning helps identify active hosts, open ports, and unnecessary services on the network. Building on the gathered data, attackers probe deeper into the network. Sometimes, scanning and reconnaissance overlap, and it's tough to separate them. The third is enumeration. Here, attackers actively connect to the target system or use direct queries to gather more detailed information. They seek things like user lists, security flaws, and applications to understand the target better. The fourth is vulnerability analysis. This involves checking how well a system can withstand an attack. Hackers assess security procedures and controls to identify weaknesses. The goal is to pinpoint vulnerabilities in the target's network and systems, which can be exploited in later stages of the attack. The last one is system hacking. Attackers follow a series of steps to hack into a system. First, they gather information during phases like footprinting, scanning, enumeration, and vulnerability analysis. Armed with this intel, they exploit weaknesses in the target system. Gaining access. This is where the actual hacking takes place. After gathering information in earlier phases, attackers use techniques like password cracking and exploiting vulnerabilities to break into the target system. Once in, they aim to escalate privileges and obtain complete control, compromising connected systems in the process. Escalating privileges. Post gaining access, attackers strive to boost their privileges, reaching the administrator level. This enables them to perform protected system operations and advance to the next level of the hacking phase, such as executing applications. The attacker leverages known vulnerabilities for this escalation. Maintaining access. Once they've achieved high-level access, attackers aim to retain ownership of the system. They have free rein to manipulate data, applications, and configurations, using the system as a launchpad for further attacks. They close vulnerabilities to maintain control, occasionally providing protection against other potential attacks. Clearing logs. To avoid detection, attackers need to remove any evidence of their presence. They achieve this by modifying or deleting system logs using specific utilities, effectively erasing traces of their actions. Understanding these phases gives hackers insights into the target and helps them plan their attacks more effectively. We've got big plans. We'll be creating dedicated videos for each of these phases in our upcoming videos. Now let's explore understanding the cyber kill chain methodology. The cyber kill chain methodology is like a strategic guide for defending against malicious intrusions. Let's break it down into simple steps. The first is reconnaissance. Think of this as the attacker's planning phase. They're like digital scouts, gathering intel about the target, IP addresses, employee details, you name it. It's all about checking the map before embarking on a cyber journey. The second is weaponization. Now, armed with this intel, attackers craft their weapon of choice, often malware. It's the phase where they load up their arsenal to exploit the target's vulnerabilities. Tricks like phishing emails are their go-to for delivering this digital weapon. The third is delivery. Here, the weapon is sent to the target via emails, USB drives, or sneaky websites. The success of defense strategies hinges on whether they can block the attack at this crucial stage. The fourth is exploitation. Once the weapon lands, it activates and exploits vulnerabilities in the system. It's like finding weak spots and making a move on the digital chessboard, from code execution to security misconfigurations. The fifth is installation. Attackers download more digital mischief to maintain access and spread their influence within the network. They're like silent infiltrators, using tricks to hide from security controls. The sixth is command and control. Now, the attacker establishes a secret communication channel to control the victim's system remotely. It's behind-the-scenes manipulation, using hidden channels like encrypted web traffic. The last is actions on objectives. Finally, the attacker accomplishes their goals, gaining access to confidential data, disrupting services, or compromising more systems. It's like completing a mission in a game, but with real-world consequences. Understanding these steps helps security professionals implement defense strategies at different stages to prevent attacks. It's like learning the moves of a game to stay one step ahead of the opponent. This wraps up part 1 of, but hey, the story doesn't end here. Get ready because we're gearing up for part 2, dropping tomorrow. Make sure to stay tuned for more thrilling insights and cybersecurity wisdom in our upcoming videos. Your journey into the world of digital defense is just getting started. Catch you in the next episode.
These niggas be fetching to make it. Black is the leather my bands, coke in the color my beds, back in the soda my bread, water the whip on my dread. Remember that I hit a leg, $500 it didn't make sense. I'ma mix potions.